Hey everybody, welcome back to another video in the Color Cup. Still running the same team, Starmie, Magmar, and Cacturne, but I'm thinking about switching it up here soon, so maybe we'll see another video in the next couple of days with a different team. But we had some pretty good success today with this team. Started off really strong, and then started getting some lag, so that really threw our gameplay for a loop, but we'll see how the gameplay goes and just provide some commentary. So here we go. This is actually, I think, our very first mirror match on lead, Starmie versus Starmie. I didn't really know how I wanted to play it out, so just going to keep going with the mirror, get to the power gem, throw it, see what the opponent wants to do, and then we'll kind of like base our gameplay off that. They shield the move, so I figured I'm going to let this go, hot swap into the Cacturne, try and get some fast move damage off. But you can see here that these sucker punches from the Cacturne are really chunking, and they switch into their own grass type team. So far this has been a complete kind of mirror, at least team composition, like Starmie on lead, grass type in back. They let that go, so I'm like, okay, free farm on the Cacturne, shield this, let's go. They even wild charge, so we get a little bit less farm from that, but that's okay. And then in comes their Magmar, so this is pretty much a completely mirror team, and I think we've got a bit of an advantage here, but we'll see how it goes. Throwing this dynamic punch, it's a one-hit KO threat, so oh geez, I didn't realize that we'd done that much fast move damage with those sucker punches. The boosted sucker punches from Cacturne just do an incredible amount of damage. And then they instantly threw, so I figured they were just throwing a fire punch to try and get the last little bit of health off that Starmie. But I put in a fire type, so I resisted it. And then now I'm shielding up their move, Scorching Sands. I did debuff me, so I want to just kind of build up to a Scorching Sands and switch out. And then they don't win CMP over my Magmar, so we get the win. Get to throw this move, and it should take out the Starmie easily at this range. So there's win number 1 for today. And then oh, the Magmar was still alive in the back. Totally forgot about that. But it had no energy, so it wasn't really a threat at that point. Just had to fast move it down. And then moving on to the next battle. This team comp is pretty nice. I do like Starmie on lead. Just pretty solid coverage. Turtonator on lead. That's a great lead for this team. But they do hot swap into Lileep, or Credilli, so I just send Magmar in right away. I know I can tank a Rock Slide. They didn't build up to a Stone Edge, so this is an easy no shield, but you will see it does a lot of damage. But for what I want to get out of it, it's plenty of health, so throw a fire punch. I do think I misplay this and throw instantly, and they overfarm, so they get a free bit of farm, but with kind of what I'm envisioning, it doesn't really matter. They end up shielding, so we've got the shield advantage. I'm fine with just like letting them farm down, or now they throw, so that's even better for us. I'm just going to come in with the Cacturne, farm away, and then probably just going to throw. We do have to shield here, but that's fine. I anticipated that. Now we're even shields, and I've got a little bit of an energy lead on both my Starmie and my Cacturne. Throw one Sucker Punch, get out, avoid that Incinerate damage, because that would hurt. And then send in a Zapdos, so I can pull their last shield here with a Power Gem, and then probably just bank on Cacturne's oppressive offensive damage to close out this game. So they can't farm me down. They've got to throw. That's good for me. So now I'm just going to come in, farm it all the way down with Cacturne, and then have a Dynamic Punch pretty much cooked for the Turtonator that's going to come back in. We won't be able to survive these Incinerates very well, so got to be mindful of that. Can't let too much damage hit me, but they should definitely be in range for Dynamic Punch now after these last couple of Sucker Punches hit them. So that's the win. Nice 2-0 right now, I think. So pretty solid so far. Let's see how the rest of this battle set goes. Finding our opponent. I think we're 2470 something here. So again, climbed up a little bit yesterday overall, and then started off with a pretty heavy climb today. So that was nice. But yeah, now makes us wait for these battles. So going up against Tommy Black, let's see how the battle goes. Feraligator's a bit tricky for this team. It's generally just a very threatening Pokemon, so I figured I'd just play out the lead neutrally, kind of off the rip, and then they throw immediately, so that's pretty huge for me. So I'm just going to throw off this Power Gem, and then either make him shield it, or I think I might even take out the Feraligator if this lands, but looks like they want to shield it, so I hot swap into the... Oh, no, that killed, so I don't need to swap in. It just bring in the Cacturne. They throw in the Charge-a-Bug, and then I'm going to catch the X-Scissor on the Magmar. So resisted damage into the Magmar, that's pretty nice. And then I do think I'll outpace them with their discharge, so we'll force them to make another big decision here and then kind of see how they want to play it. What are they going to do here? Yep, they let it go, so now it's just the Feraligator and then whatever the third Pokemon is. And Yep, they're bringing in the Feraligatr, so I'm just gonna throw the Fire Punch. We've chipped them enough to where this is gonna kill him, even though it's resisted. So again, forcing the opponent to make a decision here, and they decide to let it go. And in the back, they've got the Alola Marowak Shadow too. So I bank the Scorching Sands, get out into the Cacturne. I'm bluffing a Dark type move here. They technically don't need to shield this, so hopefully they do give us a shield, and they do. So that's huge. That's all that we needed. Now we can just come in, throw the Scorching Sands, and that's game for us. So that'll be 3-0 for this set, and shout out to that team player. And then, yeah, moving on to the next battle. Got these nice little, like, you win animations and stuff like that. I'm trying to find, like, a good, consistent place to put the editing there to make sure that it's not as jarring of a transition between battles. Again, gonna focus on, like, the transitions and making everything smoother, kind of, like, as I post more and more videos, but learning a little bit each time I do this, so thanks again for bearing with me. Starting off in our fourth battle here, Cradily lead. This is an interesting one. It's technically a negative lead, but I like to build up a little bit of energy and catch what should be a Grass Knot on my Magmar, because it can throw Rock-type moves and Grass-type moves. We do it successfully here, but we didn't get to sneak the move through, so we didn't get any free energy off that. A little bit sad, but they come with a Fire-type, and honestly, that's not a great like counter swap for this Magmar. We can hit him pretty hard with Ground-type damage from Scorching Sands, and look at that. I mean, that took out, like, what, 90% of their health, maybe 80%. And then they let us get to this other move. They had energy to throw at us right there, but they got a little bit greedy, and now they're throwing, which, again, they could have thrown another Incinerate and capitalized even more after that, but I think we kind of made him panic a little bit. So we're going to come in here, farm him down with the Cacturne, get some free energy. We don't need to take any fire-type damage from their Incinerate because they threw, so... And no, they've got another Fire-type in back, so that's kind of brutal for us. Kind of hot swap in a Starmie, pull their last shield, or just kill this thing. Really, again, putting the pressure on the opponent, and they let it go. So now this Cradily is all that's left, and with what we have in the tank, I think this should be a pretty solid win for us. Just going to build up to the Surf, throw it. This is going to do some pretty decent neutral damage. Yeah, like you can see there, like into the red already, and then they needed to build up, they needed to farm down my Starmie to have any chance to kind of kill my Cacturne, but we really just had them against the ropes there. So they played it well, but the team compositions and kind of how the match played out went in our favor. And then, once again, Cradily leads, so going to do the same thing here. Try and do it with a little bit better timing, so I do sneak that Karate Chop through, which I do get the timing right, but then they decided to overfarm a little bit, and right as I hit no shield, I was a little bit concerned that they were throwing a Stone Edge, because they did have the energy for it, but got lucky. It was just a Rock Slide, and they hot swap into their Magmar, so again, threatening the KO or a shield with this Scorching Sands. We pull the shield, and we get the debuff, so that's pretty ideal, so I'm just kind of getting in here. I want to throw this energy as fast as possible. Again, putting pressure on the opponent, making them make that decision to use their last shield, and they didn't want to do it, so they let us take the damage and then kill the Magmar. They come in with their Cradily, get a move off. I'm happy shielding here. We've got quite an advantage here so far, so I want to just kind of keep two Pokemon alive, and then now we can force them to, again, give us their last shield, or really just kind of let this Pokemon go down and bank on their last Pokemon. And it's another Fire type in back, so it's going to be actually, we've got more health here, so I think I just kind of played out with Starmie. But I did feel a little bit bad letting the Shiny Shadow Cacturne just kind of sit the bench this time, so I do a bit of a cheeky move here, and this Surf, I pretty heavily undercharge it, get the AWAC down to like 1 HP, hot swap into the Cacturne, sneak a Sucker Punch. I know I can tank this move, even though a resisted move does do a lot of damage to this Pokemon. I knew that wouldn't be lethal, so having a bit of fun in that one, and then made sure that the Cacturne didn't get a break in that battle. And then here we go, reclaiming our 5 set. We got the Pancham for free, that's pretty nice. And then this bumps us up quite a bit in Elo, puts us up to like, what, 25, 42? So not too shabby. And then this is our second set for the day. Going into this kind of same strategy. So you want to see what the lead Pokemon are. If it's more Cordelias, I think I'm honestly happy with that. Abomasnow's a bit tricky because it threatens the Cacturne pretty hard, but they hot swap out, and they hot swap into a Kingdra. So this is a little bit tricky. So I'm just going to throw the Power Gem, kind of make the opponent make a decision on whether or not they want to shield, and then play it out from there. So I hot swap into the Cacturne the second they give me their shield. I've got to shield this, although they might just be baiting me with the debuffing move. And they do, but I don't get the debuff, so that's pretty nice. It's a 50-50 chance, and it's pretty hurtful when they do get that debuff, because it just kind of nerfs your attack damage. Now I'm forcing the opponent to make another decision. This either kills the Abomasnow, or I get the last shield. So I get the last shield, and now they're in a really kind of like tricky defensive position, and they swap into one of the few water types that I can actually pretty well handle with this Magmar because I can hit it for super effective with the Scorching Sands. I had an energy lead. I have a shield advantage. So all things are looking up for us right now. I'm going to shield up this Surf that's coming in, and then going to overfarm a little bit so that I can outpace that Abomasnow to their next move. Throw the Fire Punch. Now we've done enough damage to this thing where the resisted Fire Punch will do enough damage to knock it out. And then, yep, we pretty easily outpaced. I think the opponent kind of gave up there for a sec and then got back into it, but it wasn't impactful. We had the win either way, so yeah, good games to the opponent, and then that's the win on the first battle of the next set, so off to a good start again. Started off pretty strong today. I do have to admit it did taper down a little bit, but we'll see a bit of why that happened in the next battles. So again, Kingdra lead. This Pokemon's so tricky for this team, but they hot swap out, so I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Swap into the Cacturne, get some really solid fast move damage. I'm fine giving up a shield here because we can guarantee switch advantage, and I can threaten some pretty serious damage on that Kingdra if they do bring it back in. So they're waiting out their switch clock, and then we'll see what they bring in. They do bring back the Kingdra, so I'm immediately going to throw this because the sooner I throw this, the more damage my fast moves do because it does boost my attack. But they let it go, so I'm about to kill this guy, and then it's just a 3v1 against their last Pokemon, and it's a Ferrothorn? Yeah. So I'm throwing this. It's lethal damage. It doesn't really matter. I think the moment that they see my Magmar, they're going to realize that there's no hope left, and they top left. They give up. That was just a brutal last Pokemon for them to have for the Pokemon that I was kind of hiding in back. So went really well in our favor, and I'll always take that. Moving into the third battle here. Ferrothorn on lead, it's a little bit trickier for us to deal with. So hot swap into the Cacturne, see how they want to play it out. They bring in a fire type. Brutal for our Cacturne, but I think we should be able to pull a shield or maybe threaten killing them after we can do some fasting damage afterwards. But they give us the shield, so I'm like, all right, they've got quite a heavy energy lead. So I'm going to come in and try to call a bait. So they can throw Shadow Bone or Bone Club. Shadow Bone threatens some pretty serious damage. I did not realize that it was lethal damage, so that was a bit of like an accident on my part. So now I'm in a really tough spot because I have to try and farm it down with double resisted moves here. But they come in with the Typhlosion, and I'm realizing that it's pretty much over. I do get a little bit sloppy. I kind of predicted that they might have had a one-turn swap in, so I got a bit greedy, and I let them sneak in a whole Incinerate, and that's just game over. I mean, there was very, very low odds we could come back, if any at all, here. So the opponent's going to take this. Yep, that's the Thunder Punch coming in. Should be lethal damage, but I think that they actually kind of undercharged a little bit, and yep, they want to fast move us down, so they earned that. That's okay. Now we're going into the fourth battle. That's our first loss of the set, and I think first loss of the day, even. So again, pretty good streak to start off with, and then here we're getting into another Cordelia lead. So I think I'm actually starting to like these leads because I'm pretty comfortable with how they play out. So same deal, just going to build up energy, swap into the Magmar, and then I do think that they actually were baiting my Starmie because Rock Slide's a little bit less energy, but it worked out great in their favor. But it doesn't matter for me because I still get off my Scorching Sands here, so I'm not too concerned with that outcome there. They do shield it, but that's fine by me. Gonna come with a Starmie. This time I've learned my lesson. I'm not letting another Shadow Bone go. So shield it up, and then I think the opponent, if they wanted to, could probably pull our second shield, but I think they let this go once we throw this Surf, so that makes our lives a lot easier. But yeah, with an energy lead on that AWAC, it was a little bit tricky. But then what comes in next is even trickier. So we don't have two shields. This Morpeko Pokemon can really build up some momentum. Every time it throws this R-Wheel move that it's about to throw, it boosts its own attack, and it gets to these moves so dang fast. So I saw this thing and I was like, oh my god, if they catch this, it's pretty much game over. But they didn't catch it, so we get to kill it and then play it out from here. And then once again, my Sucker Punches are now boosted on this really glassy Pokemon, so I'm just kind of tearing through this Pokemon. They do outpace us to the Trailblaze, so now we're kind of into like race territory. So it's all up to my Starmie to outpace them to their next move for us to get to our next move, and we do get there by like a single frame. So Starmie clutching it up again, getting the win, and then now it's a 3-1 set, and then we're going into the final battle. And then with this battle, I think did kind of start like our downturn for the day. We'll see in this battle kind of like what was going on, but it really we just had a lot less success in our battle sets after this battle today. I think it was largely like a server issue, but also had some misplays in there, and then sometimes just the team comps weren't going my way. Started off with a great lead going into the Talonflame with my Starmie. They send in this charge bug, and I'm like, all right, I can pull a bunch of shields, do a bunch of damage. I don't need to shield this technically. If they want to now, they can double shield and maintain switch, but I'd have to start using shields, and I really don't like using shields on this team too early because the Pokemon is so glassy in general. So playing this out, they give us a shield, I throw another one. They don't give us a shield here. It's not lethal damage, but here's the farm down. But I'm thinking, okay, they gave me a shield. I'll give them a shield to come in, snipe with the Sucker Punch that sneaks through. And the game glitches out, doesn't let me sneak the move through. So they actually get 2 moves off here. And for the price of 1, they get 2 shields. That, again, is just the game kind of not behaving the way that it's designed to behave. And we'll see here in a sec that I think that's a pretty detrimental extra shield we had to give up. So we send in a hot soft Starmie. They send in their heavy neutral player, Gastrodon. Well, the second I see this, I'm like, oh god, this is a brutal game. They do let us get to, or I guess we technically outpace them there, but they are going to let us kill us with this Surf. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's still hope, but they get to this fly. They don't play any games. They instantly throw it. So they've only got like 10 energy left. It's going to take them 2 Incinerates to get to the next fly, and then, 3 more Incinerates after that to get to their second fly. And we'll see here that without that shield that we should have had, we just cannot get this game. So that's pretty unfortunate. But, I mean, it is a game. It's a server-based game, so what can you do? Overall, pretty good day of sets. I think we ended up around like 2450 again, so no major negative gain. But tomorrow I think I'm going to switch it up, so watch out for that battle. And I've also got some old footage that I can commentate over that's even spicier teams. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good night.